Hi everyone and welcome to another TAILEATERS Discussion. My name's Lee Adams. I'm also the co-host of Cosmic Echo, a TAILEATER podcast. And in this discussion, we're going to be talking about having that first lucid dream. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hi everyone, in this video I want to talk about having your first lucid dream. So getting down to the basics. That's where I'm going at with this video. So some people have lucid dreams pretty easily. They just naturally occur to some people. For instance, when I was a little kid, I would have lucid dreams. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't understand if anybody else in this planet or world had these things happen to them. I tell my mom, and she was totally confused about what I was talking about. She typically didn't really remember her dreams, but for some reason I did. And I would tell her all about my crazy adventures and how I was aware of a dream and controlling things, and it seemed pretty bizarre to her, but to me it was kind of normal. I didn't really understand that other people didn't have these experiences, but I did notice that my family members didn't. So when I got older, though, I started realizing that this was a little less common, as I would tell people about my stories, and they would be like, what the heck are you talking about? So that's an instance of somebody kind of being a little bit gifted, I guess, and you could say, in a way of lucid dreaming. But I have my own challenges. So what I'm getting into with this video is talking to you a little bit more about how to have your actual first lucid dream, and just like a normal conversation, So if you're having troubles and you've gone through guides and things like that about how to have a lucid dream, then you notice that you can get a little confused about what the facts are and what is the best technique to actually do it. And that's because there's a crap ton of information out there, and it gets really confusing because some things work for some people and some things don't work for others, and everyone's saying this will absolutely work. Well, that's just not how it works, okay? So what happens is, for me, when I wanted to increase my ability to have lucid dreams, I had to get down to the basics. I had to figure out what is the actual basic methods behind this, and why are they working for me, or why are they working for other people. And so what I did is I did a lot of research and reading, and I found that there's a lot of bad information out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some good information, and a lot of this is not brought by me. It's not brought by, I didn't do anything special by figuring this stuff out. This is nothing new, but I went to a lot of classes. I spent a lot of time talking with dream researchers such as Ryan Hurd from dreamstudies.org, and spent a lot of time reading books about lucid dreaming and dream yoga, things like that. And I found some best used methods based on peer-reviewed research, meaning that people have actually conducted the research to show that these things work in a scientific method, in a scientific study. So they do work for most people. Doesn't mean they'll work for you, and that's why I'm going to give you additional tools at the end of this video that will get you on your way. So anyways, let's get to it, right? Yeah, that's why you're here. So the first thing to realize about lucid dreaming is you're doing something that your brain and body isn't typically used to doing. You're trying to be aware in a dream. Typically, we don't remember our dreams very well, and if we do, we're definitely not aware inside the dream. So you're trying to do something different. That is hard to do. It's not easy, and it can take time and practice. So the practice that I want you to perform is just a few steps. So the first step is you're going to be waking up at night and going back to bed. So what you want to do is you want to go to sleep and get good rest, okay? Like 5 to 6 hours of good rest. And if you typically sleep more or less than 5 to 6 hours, that may be your first problem with lucid dreaming. So typically people that don't get up to 8 hours of sleep a night are drained and tired, and then they wake up and they feel extremely tired as well. And also, if they wake up in the middle of the night and try to go back to sleep, then they go to back to sleep very quickly and can't remember it. Or if they're practicing stuff during the day, such as awareness and meditation, things like that, typically people fall asleep. So if you can lay down and during the day and do meditation practices for 15 minutes and you're snoring, or you wake up an hour later realizing that you just fell asleep, you're too tired. Okay, so you need to start getting more sleep if you're going to practice this. And sometimes people can't do that, and that's okay. That means that you may not be ready to do lucid dreaming techniques that will actually work, and that's why it's not working for you in the first place. So let's get back to this first step, which is waking up after about 5 to 6 hours of sleep and then going back to bed. So you're going to wake up, you're going to get up and actually go do something. Typically, it's recommended about 45 minutes, and it sounds like a long time, but 45 minutes allows your brain to actually start becoming aware. There's chemicals going on in here, and when we're sleeping, there's different chemicals that are active, and when we're awake, there's different chemicals that are also active. So what we're trying to do is we're increasing these chemicals in our brain that induce wakefulness and awareness, and those things allow us to actually remember our dreams. Memory is a big part of this puzzle of lucidity. Strange, I know. If you remember things, you typically don't think, oh, I was aware, but that's just kind of how it works. So what we're doing is we're waking up, 5 to 6 hours of sleep, right? We wake up for 45 minutes, and now we're going back to sleep. So our brain is more aware, and we're going back to sleep. So once that happens, the best thing to do is just try to go back to sleep and not really practice anything, not make anything confusing or crazy during this stage. Okay. But then what's going to happen, and it seems odd, but you're going to wake up again. Okay. So our brains actually go through phases of sleep throughout the night. And it's about every 90 minutes that you go into another new phase of sleep. And the more sleep that we get, the longer these phases last too. And what we're trying to achieve is going through this phase, because in those phases we have periods of time where we actually dream. Most time we dream in REM, but you can also dream in non-REM. So this may sound confusing and contrary to what you know about dreams, but REM is not the only place that we dream. We also dream in non-REM. And during those phases where we shift from REM to non-REM and back into REM, those are the periods of times where we have the best chance of becoming lucid and aware. Okay? So when our brains wake up again, or wake our body up, and we actually become aware that we're awake during the night after this 5 to 6 hour period, and then 45 minutes, go back to bed, waking up again, right? This is not with an alarm or anything. It just naturally will happen. That is the point in time that you don't want to move if possible. You just want to stay still, not do anything, or you actually may become lucid just by going through that phase and having this intention that you want to become lucid. So kind of going back to step one, the 5 to 6 hours of sleep, you also want to set the intention when you go back to sleep after the 45 minutes that you're wanting to have a lucid dream. I didn't state that because I thought that was kind of a give me, but yeah, so make sure to set your intention. I'm going to go over this again at the end just to be clear. So now we're waking up again naturally, without alarm, and we are waking up and possibly becoming lucid because we have this intention in that phase, and our brains are a little bit more aware that we are going to have a lucid dream. So if that doesn't work, okay, that's the first grouping. If that doesn't work, there's another technique I want to tell you about, which is called the mild technique. It's mnemonic induced lucid dreaming. And the reason that this is important is because our brains learn specifically how to remember things through references to other things. So this type of training is done for people that are into math, things like that, or whatever. When you're a kid, it may be like, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally for some mathematical functions of multiplication, things like that. So you're using like keywords in order to remember some other thing. In the mild technique, when it applies to lucid dreaming, you're doing the same thing. You are waking up and remembering a dream that you actually had, and that you weren't lucid in, right? So you're waking up, you're remembering a dream, and you weren't lucid in it, but now you imagine yourself having that dream as if it was lucid. So for instance, say I was having a dream where I was walking down the road and talking to, say, my neighbor. Well, it wasn't lucid for me at that time. But if it was lucid, what would I have done? Maybe I would stop talking to my neighbor, or maybe I would try to control my neighbor and have him do something, or maybe I would just fly off, right? Typically that's what I'm interested is getting out of there and exploring the universe, right? I think that's probably a goal of most people. So at that point, I would think of this dream and imagine myself inside of that dream that I just had that wasn't lucid, but I would imagine myself being lucid in that dream. And from there, I would then set the intention when I go back to sleep to experience the lucid dream. So my brain somehow this works. It works very well. It references that dream that I had that wasn't lucid, but as if it was lucid, and then picks up on those traits when I'm actually dreaming my next dream. So you can use that in combination with the wake back to bed. So since we'll go through it again, you're going to wake up, go back to bed, or wake up, wait 45 minutes, go back to bed, and then wake up again naturally. And if it wasn't a lucid dream, then we're going to imagine that dream as if it was a lucid dream, and then set the intention to go back to bed and have a lucid dream. And in combination with that, we're trying not to move when we wake up. This will make it so that our brains still think that we're sleeping, and not if our body moves, then it creates another wakefulness, which we've already had enough of. So the last technique in this picture is going to be using supplements. So people are generally afraid of using supplements because they're not doctor prescribed, the FDA doesn't approve of them, there's not a lot of research done. I'm going to tell you that the research behind supplements is pretty well done out there. It's just not a lot of scientific research done. You can read about online information about supplements. You can go to the Lucid Supplement Guide or Lucid Pills on TAILEATERS.com as well, and you can find a huge list of supplements there and why they work and why they don't work, which ones I recommend to take as well. But doctors also prescribe supplements now because they find that they're actually useful to helping people. Vitamins are essential to people, and sometimes people have less vitamins that they need, and certain vitamins and supplements can actually increase awareness. So the main ones are going to be 5-HTP, which is serotonin precursor, and that allows you to push REM till later periods of the night. And as I said before, REM is typically where dreams happen. So we take supplements like 5-HTP and then wait or go to sleep, and then as the night progresses, we have a better chance of having a REM type dream later on in the evening. Just how the brain works with the supplement. So that is an important key for people that are trying to have lucid dreams and are having trouble. If you don't need supplements, don't use them. All right. So the very last thing that I want to talk about actually is the maybe the most important thing, and that is keeping a dream journal and also doing reality checks. The reason that these are important are not because the magical ability of a reality check or the magical ability of dream journaling, right? There's no magic here. What it is doing, though, is it's creating awareness. It's creating your attention and your focus on dreaming and how important it is to your brain, and also creating awareness of what your actions are during the day and also actions during the night. So your brain will pick up on these and notice that it's important and that should pay attention. And then when you're in a lucid state, then you can also experience it, and your brain will notice it and remember. So that's why it's important. So we're going to go over all these techniques real quick again, just to close them off. And hopefully I didn't confuse the crap out of you. But technique number 1, right, is going to be the go to sleep technique, right? We're going to go to sleep and we're going to get 5 to 6 hours of sleep. Good, well-rested sleep. Not trying to do crazy stuff or anything like that, right? The next technique is the wake up and then go back to bed. So we're going to wake up 5 to 6 hours later, and we're going to do something for 45 minutes. Doesn't have to be crazy, doesn't have to be wild or anything like that. But then we're going to go back to sleep with the intention set to have a lucid dream. Okay? And that means just focusing on the lucid dream. I'm going to have a lucid dream tonight. Believe it. All right? Then you're going to go back to sleep. And now, without an alarm, you're going to wake up. You're going to start noticing that you wake up often throughout the night. And when this happens, don't move. Try not to move. Try not to open your eyes. Try not to do anything. But at that time, if it wasn't a lucid dream, then you're going to think about the dream that you just had, that you remember as a lucid dream. Okay? And then you're going to go back to sleep with the intention to have a lucid dream. Crazy. All right? So now we're going back to sleep. We're with the intention to have a lucid dream. We're thinking about the dream that we just had as if it was lucid. And now we're going to go back to sleep. And hopefully our lucidity awareness will be up and we'll be lucid in our dream and be able to do some stuff, right? So if that all doesn't work, right, then we can look at lucid supplements to help us out. And they're complex. Don't get me wrong. They are very complex, and there's a lot of guides and information out there as well. I would suggest going to our website, TAILEATERS.com / or just TAILEATERS.com, okay, not /, and go there, and there are some free guides, and one of them is lucid dreaming pills, and you can find tons of information there, okay. And also, you don't have to spend a bunch of money on stuff that you don't actually need. These are just generic stuff that isn't branded or anything like that. We're not trying to empty your bank account to have these experiences, okay. So on top of all that, we want to finish it off with reality checks and dream journaling. So when you wake up and you remember your dream, write it down, okay. Be as descriptive as possible, but if you can't remember anything, just start writing something, anything, okay, about dreams and why you want to have a lucid dream, okay. And then throughout the day, you want to have reality checks, which is like looking at your hands and say, am I dreaming? Or you put your hand on a doorknob and turn it, am I dreaming? You know, you touch things. Try to get in touch with reality, so you can see the differences when you're in a dreamscape and suddenly things change, and you notice you're like, this is a dream. This is crazy, right? Then you take off and you go flying around. Boom. So hopefully this helps, some people out there. Again, there's free guides on the TAILEATERS.com website. And there's tons of information out there as well. This is not the only resource, okay? But hopefully this video helped you into understanding the basics of lucid dreaming and can get you started on a pathway to creating what I call a dream practice. Okay, it's not something that I just start and stop. It's like any type of practice. It's something that is important to me in my life, and I'm continually going to do forever and get better at, hopefully. It's not something that you just do and then stop, or it's kind of like karate, you know. The more you do, the better you are, and then eventually your life kind of reflects that as well, you know. So like art of war, things like that, right? So lucid dreaming, you know, dream yoga, that's what I'm talking about. Makes you a better person when you're sleeping and when you're awake. So, okay. If you like this video and you found that helped you, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this and would like to support us through our Patreon page, you can at TAILEATERS.com. And also, we have a podcast where we discuss lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, consciousness, psychedelics, if you're into that crazy stuff. And that's at TAILEATERS.com/CE podcast. So, look forward to bringing you more videos in the near future. But until then, happy dreaming.